What's going on, guys? I'm Maze. And 1 year ago, Pokemon the Movie 20 I Choose You was released, celebrating 20 years of the Pokemon anime by retelling the story of how Ash and Pikachu met and their journey to get each gym badge. So of course there was a lot of similarities to the main series of the Pokemon anime. However, that doesn't mean there are any differences too. This is also confirmed to be an alternate timeline too, that even continues on into Movie 21, everyone's story. So for today's episode of Packed Pokemon Anime Trivia, we will be taking a look at every difference between Pokemon the Movie 20, I Choose You, and the Pokemon Anime main series. Every difference will be conducted like a list. Let's begin! Firstly, let's get the obvious out of the way. Instead of having Brock and Misty as Ash's travelling companions, Ash is instead joined by two new characters, Verity and Sorrel, for most of his Kanto journey. Brock and Misty did get a cameo in the ending credits though. Another obvious difference is that multiple Generation 2 to Generation 7 Pokemon are seen within this movie, despite the original 151 Pokemon only being present in the original series of the anime. In the beginning of the film, Ash Ketchum is watching a battle between Nisha and Corey on TV instead of the two unidentified trainers from the first episode. Also for that battle scene, Ash is just seen wearing his t-shirt and pants while watching the battle, whereas the first episode had Ash watching the battle in his whole original series outfit. The Pokemon themed merchandise in Ash's room is completely different compared to the first episode of the anime. The poster of the Kanto Pokemon in Ash's room are displayed differently, with Charmander, Squirtle and Bulbasaur being in different poses and positions compared to the first episode of the anime. The background of the poster is slightly different as well. Unlike in the first episode, where Ash's alarm clock falls into his hands while he is asleep, Ash grabs the alarm clock in his sleep. Also unlike the first episode, the Yellow wakes up Ash instead of Ash waking himself up. Ash runs to Professor Oak's laboratory barefoot with his pajamas, unlike the original episode where he is at least wearing shoes with his pajamas. Ash finds Professor Oak watering Bellsprout and Oddish outside the lab, whereas in the first episode, Oak was the one to find Ash after his brief encounter with Gary. Gary has no interaction with Ash in this movie and only makes a brief cameo in a flashback, in which he receives his Squirtle. His cheerleaders don't make an appearance in the film either, nor do his crowd of supporters. The Pokemon weren't in their Pokeballs sitting on a pedestal like the original episode. Instead, they were displayed on a tray with bed and balls for each of the starters before the new trainers picked them out. The trainers who received their starter Pokemon from Professor Oak on the day Ash met Pikachu are shown as different people compared to the first episode, apart from Gary. To find out who the two other characters are, I showcase this in my Movie 20 Easter eggs video. Ash and Pikachu's first encounter is different from the series. In the main series, Professor Oak sends out Pikachu from his Pokeball. In the movie, Pikachu was already out in Professor Oak's lab before Ash finds him. Professor Oak wasn't shown giving Ash a Pokédex like he did in the first episode. However, it is possible that Ash receives his off-screen. If that's the case, then Ash was never seen using the Pokédex in the movie. RIP Dexter. The Yellow never enters Professor Oak's lab in the original episode. Because of this, the original scene with Ash trying to get Pikachu in his ball takes place inside the lab instead. Also for the Diella scene, Diella arrives alone, while in the episode a group of supporters arrive to see Ash off. Ash changes into his clothes in Professor Oak's lab instead of changing shortly after setting out on his journey within the first episode. When Ash is dragging Pikachu outside of Pallet Town, he isn't seen wearing rubber gloves, despite having them in the first episode, as he wasn't given any rubber gloves in the movie. Pikachu never goes up a tree to watch Ash try and catch a Pidgey like he did in the first episode. Instead, he just stands on a rock. A Rattata never shows up to steal Ash's food in the movie like it did for the first episode. The Spearow that got hit with a rock attacks Pikachu because it's suspected that Pikachu hits it. In the main series, it attacked Pikachu simply because it was jealous of it. After Pikachu attacks Spearow, he flies into a tree full of other Spearow, where in the original episode, he was calling out to them instead. Also for that Spearow scene, the number of Spearow that attack Ash or Pikachu is greatly increased compared to the first episode, from 20-fold to 1000. Ash doesn't steal Misty's bike to escape the flock of Spearow, and tries to get away entirely on foot, seeming as Misty is not present in this movie. Ash flips his hat while carrying Pikachu in the first episode, whereas in the movie, he doesn't flip his hat until after he confronts the flock of Spearow. After Pikachu defeats the flock of Spearow, the sky is sunny again after the rain clears up in the original episode. In the movie, it's a sunset instead. Ash's hat remains on his head after being knocked out in the first episode, while his hat was knocked off in the movie. Ash doesn't get a rainbow wing from Ho-Oh in the original episode. This rainbow wing also inspires the plot for this movie of meeting Ho-Oh, which Ash never wants to do in the original series. Ash doesn't catch any of his Pokemon from the main series other than Caterpie and Charmander. Ash uses Pikachu to battle Caterpie before catching it, unlike in the original series where Ash just catches Caterpie without weakening it. Unlike in the episode titled Ash Catches a Pokemon, Ash is awake with Pikachu and Caterpie gazing at the group of Butterfree in the sky. They are all sitting in a tree rather than standing on a rock. Erica was the first gym leader encountered rather than the fifth one, while the first two gym leaders were encountered off screen. Pikachu knows Iron Tail in this movie, a move he doesn't learn until the Advanced Generation series of the anime. Unlike in the main series, Team Rocket doesn't interact with Ash at all in this movie, since they only follow him without making themselves noticeable throughout the film. Kinda creepy, Team Rocket. Charmander isn't holding a leaf while being in the rain like his debut episode, nor is he attacked by a flock of Spearow. Also for that Charmander scene, instead of taking Charmander to Nurse Joy, Ash takes him to a cave to heal himself up. Ash's Pokemon evolve in scenarios different than the original series. Caterpie evolves into Metapod from battling a Pinsir rather than a battle against Team Rocket, and then evolves into Butterfree during a fight against a pack of Primeape instead of a swarm of Beedrill. In the original series, Caterpie's evolution process was similar to a real-life caterpillar's life cycle, going through metamorphosis and then emerging from its cocoon. In the movie, it is shown to evolve like any other Pokemon, similar to how they do in later episodes. As for Charmander, Charmander evolves into Charmeleon from battling a Jigglypuff instead of stopping a herd of Executor, and then evolves into Charizard doing a rematch against Cross and his Incineroar instead of saving Ash from an Aerodactyl. Charmeleon, and later Charizard, consistently stays obedient to Ash after evolving. In the main series, Charizard rarely obeyed Ash until the episode titled Charizard Chills. Butterfree and the pink Butterfree are first encountered while it was being chased by a Fearow. Also, there are no other trainers shown to have owned Butterfree. Because Brock doesn't appear in the movie, Butterfree doesn't get a yellow scarf. In the movie, Butterfree knows Ghost, a move he doesn't learn at all in the main anime. Ash doesn't capture Charmander until he has earned his third gym badge, whereas Ash obtained it between his second and third badges in the main series. Ash is also shown just to have 3 Pokemon under his ownership over the movie: Pikachu, Butterfree, and Charizard, with no indication of him having caught Pidgeot, Bulbasaur, Squirtle, or any of the other Pokemon he had kept in rotation throughout his Kanto journey. Cross is Charmander's original trainer instead of Damien. Finally, for this list, Charizard knows Slash, a move he doesn't learn until the Best Wishes series. As for Charmeleon, it was able to use Seismic Toss, a move it didn't learn until evolving into a Charizard. And that concludes the list. There were actually more differences than I thought, but it was still such a joy for me to explore every single one due to the interesting nature of them. Some changes were even better in my opinion, whereas others maybe not so much. Anyway, let me know in the comments down below what you think of these differences though. I'd love to hear. And if you did have as much fun as I did exploring these differences, then be sure to leave a like and a subscribe for future Pokemon content. It helps out a ton. You'll also become a member of the Entity Squad. For now, this is Entity Maze, signing out. Thank you for watching.